as you will see me do very often here, is I'll talk for a bit, then I'll take any Q&A. But first, I want to say thank you all for coming to Huntington. Thank you. If you want, you can clap now. Thank you so much for coming. I do appreciate it. And why does it matter for me to come to Long Island? Some of you don't know this, but I actually grew up as a teenager on Long Island, Suffolk County. I was born in Manhattan, but then as a younger kid, I grew up in the Bronx, South Bronx by Yankee Stadium. And then as a teenager, my parents made it, and we came out to Long Island with rich people. Well, that's what we thought when we were in the Bronx. It seemed like we were out here. That's what we thought. We came out to Long Island. We made it to a small place called North Great River. I don't know if any of you know that area. It's right by East Islip and Central Islip. Like so close to Central Islip, I went to Central Islip High School. That's where I graduated. I graduated out of CI High School. That's where I graduated. And I played football there. I actually played football in high school in CI. So I actually came out of Long Island. And then when I came back from the military many years later, I came back here to Dix Hills when my mom had actually moved. So in Huntington. So I actually was here a couple of times. So I have a closeness to Suffolk County that some people don't have, but I do. I met my current wife. I'm hoping it stays. That was a joke. All right, anyway, I met my wife, who I'm happy to be married now 20 years. I met her here in Long Island. She went to high school with me. And our first date, believe it or not, was a place that doesn't exist anymore. Comac Multiplex. And you remember that place? Yes, doesn't exist anymore. Yes. Yeah, yes. Now it's a Lowe's now, right? It's like that, a Home Depot. Lowe's in the shop, right? There we go. Used to be the Comac Multiplex. Yes, I took my not wife, just girl I was trying to date back then. I thought she was the greatest thing in the world. She thought I was some guy, and she was right. I was some guy, and she did not date me after that. And this is an interesting story. I went off to the Marine Corps. I joined when I was 17, and when I went out there, I was smitten by her. I still was. This is before we had the internet and such, so I was writing her letters. This is the 80s. By hand? By hand. I was writing letters and using stamps and stuff. I was. This is the 80s. Yes, and I wrote in cursive, that thing that no one knows anymore. I wrote in cursive. I did. It's true. So I wrote in cursive. I used a stamp, and I was sending her, and actually sent her gifts from overseas. I was wooing her, trying to get her to go out with me. She sent me a note maybe a year later. She was smart. She went to college. She was a year behind me in school. So I was a senior. She was a junior. She went off to college. I was in the Marine Corps. And she sent me a note saying, I'm in love with some other guy. And I was like, oh, I know it's broken. But I dealt with it. I moved on. 10 years later, we don't talk. We don't talk for 10 years. We don't communicate anyway for 10 years. 10 years later, there is internet. And we're on AOL. Some of you remember what that was. Some of you don't know what that is. But we're on AOL. And so we have a lot of mutual friends from high school. So I get a joke that has everyone's, email address on it, right? From a bunch of high school friends. She sees my email address, goes, hey, is this Larry Sharp? Responds to me, is this Larry Sharp from high school? I said, yeah, when are we going out? True story. That was my response. Yes, when are we going out? The next weekend we went out, a year later we were married. That's a true story. Yes. So it was the longest sales cycle ever, but the best one. Our first date anniversary, our second first date anniversary, 20 years is this December 1st, so a couple weeks from now. So we've been together 21 years now, so a long time. So I'm very happy. Why did I tell you that story? Why would I tell you a cute story like that? Because I want you to think that I'm cute. Well, I am cute. I'm going to make that happen. That's obvious. But I told you because I want to be human. And that may sound funny, but I want to be human. Because to be forward, what Greg said earlier, he's really on the money. He's really right. Most people who are running for office, most candidates, in fact, most actual politicians, their goal isn't to assist or help or to make us happy or do any of that stuff. Their goal is to stay in power, and they're good at it. They're good at it. But also to Greg's point, they're good at it because we allow them to be. Generally speaking, you will find people will, without question, communicate to you the way you train them to. And our politicians have communicated to us, trained us to communicate with them by just going, I will vote for you because I'm afraid of the other. The fear, I'm afraid of the other, so I'll vote for you. And we do again and again and again. So who gets helped? Nobody. Nobody. Ask anybody, anyone running, how do I solve problem A or problem B? You know what they say? Isn't that other guy bad? Oh my God, he's terrible, isn't he? That guy's the worst. Right, he's terrible. But how are you going to solve my problem? Well, yeah, because that guy's terrible, isn't he? That's what they do. That's what they do. I'm going to bring up something, because Greg brought up a lot of good stuff. So I'm going to bring up one other thing he brought up. Brought up the idea of environmental issues. They're all over the place, heavily in New York State. And many of you might say, well, Larry, it's great because we have the EPA, so we're saved, right? We are saved. We have the EPA. We're saved. No, we're not saved because of the EPA. The reverse is true. Because of the EPA, companies, people who are in companies are never, ever charged with anything. They're never punished in any way, shape, or form. Sometimes the company is in theory punished, but individuals are never punished. And there's no cleanups. The cleanup, for those who don't know this, is supposed to come from the super fund. That sounds amazing, right? Super fund. It's super. It's also broke. I'm not joking. It's also broke. There's no money in it. Since there's no money in it, there's no cleanup. The EPA doesn't protect us. The EPA protects corporations. It says all you have to worry about is about $10 million. After that, you're off the hook. This magical super fund will fix everything. So they pay $10 million. How do you fix that? What would you do if you asked a Democrat or Republican? Republican will say, you know, laws and stuff. Democrat will say, laws and stuff. Corporations evil. They'll say that. But what did I say in 2018, which I still talk about? I talk about changing the mission of the DEC and then adding something to it, which is an EVU, which is an Environmental Victims Unit. So he said, wait a minute, Larry, you are a libertarian? And you were talking about an Environmental Victims Unit? Are you crazy? No, not at all. What libertarians are about are punishing actual crimes, meaning crimes that have victims. So I got to find out who the victim is, don't I? And the problem is our current AG, who would in theory be prosecuting these people, he or she will have no idea how to do it. They don't know. AG in New York State doesn't stand for Attorney General. It stands for aspiring governor. So they don't know how to do this. They have no idea. I'm not wrong, right? I mean, it's true. It's true, right? So yeah. So what I want to do is have an Environmental Victims Unit, which literally is in the DEC and says, wait a minute, something bad happened, whatever the thing is. Then they can investigate and say, here is an actual victim. Here is someone who was harmed or hurt by this. Great. Now that we know who was harmed or hurt by this, now let's go and see what organization made a decision that made that happen. Now we go to the organization. And we don't go, the organization is bad. Exxon's bad. Who runs Exxon? None of you know. Of course not. Exxon can be bad all day, and they're laughing to the bank. Yeah, I'm terrible. I'll take 3 more Maseratis, please. I'm a terrible person. They don't care. It's irrelevant to them. But imagine if instead you were able to pierce the corporate veil and find out the people who actually made those decisions, and then hand that case to an AG. And the AG goes, well, that's way easy. Yeah. What happens now in corporate rooms that both Democrats and Republicans agree to completely is this. We're in our corporate room. We're the corporate guys right now, all of us. We are. You're in too. You're the lawyer, in fact. You're the lawyer. So now we're all in a room. He's the lawyer. We're all in the corporate room. And I have this plan. This plan, we're going to make $180 million. They're all happy as can be. Right? They love that. That's good. So we go to our lawyer. Say, lawyer, what if things go wrong? How much do you have to pay? He goes, max, maybe 20 million. I'll make sure. He's the good lawyer. That's why we hired him. Maybe 15 million. We do some basic math and go, done deal. Yes, let's do it. We raise our hands and say yes. He says cha-ching, because he knows he's going to make money. He's happy as can be. Everybody's going to make money. And we all go to lunch and nobody cares who gets hurt. That's how it happens right now. Imagine instead, we have this conversation, talk to our lawyer, and he goes, well, we might have to pay 20 million, plus there's a chance that if you guys vote for it, there may be direct civil and or criminal charges against you individually. They go, ooh, maybe I don't want to make that decision. Maybe I want to rethink these things. And I would ask you, what Democrat or Republican has brought up this kind of idea? None, because they're all corporatists. None, because they're all corporatists. Now, the funny part is people say, you libertarians are all corporatists. I'm a libertarian bringing up the idea to punish these people. I'm the one talking about what we talk about all the time. Individual responsibility is what I'm talking about. Individual responsibility. You're raising your hand to pollute something. You better be prepared to take the responsibility for that decision, or don't decide. It's that simple. And if we change the rules within the DEC, it's not even any extra money. The same people, the same budget, nothing changes. No extra taxes, no extra fees, no extra fines. Imagine that change. That's an actual answer. It's an actual answer. You may say, well, Larry, don't these other people have actual answers? They don't. Since 2000, you guys know this, since Al Gore, every single consultant has told their politicians, don't you dare put a detailed plan out. You put a detailed plan out, then they're just going to attack it. They're going to attack it. And they're going to trash you and call you a bad guy. You can't do that. So what do you find in every politician? America. We're going to help, care, and support. How? By caring and supporting. But how? By like really caring hard, supporting really hard. Great. That's all they do, right? And did I tell you that other guy's terrible? I mean, I tell you that other guy, he's a disaster. You can't let him win. That's the end of the world. So I got to protect you. That's their entire game. But I've had my plans, including this one, on my website for 4 years. Hasn't changed. 4 years. Some of you might have seen my Joe Rogan interview. Anybody? So that Joe Rogan interview, at the end of that interview, I say this all the time because it matters so much. He says, Larry, you've got some great plans. How'd you come up with them? I said, well, me and my team, we came up with a policy team. We came up with these ideas, plans, we put them all out. He goes, you better lock those ideas down. I said, what? He said, no, take them. I said, take them. Good. I don't have to run anymore. Fix my state. I'll go back home. This is awesome. I love this. Please fix the state. Be great. You know how many people have taken my ideas? None. Not one. 4 years of people running in this state. 4 years of people running for state assembly, state senate, everything else possible across local, everywhere. Might have been literally on my, you can take them. If you're paying attention, take them. Take them. Take them all. No one has. But I'll ask you one more thing. Who have you seen, and you guys have been following me, attack my plans? Nobody. That's correct. They don't attack my plans. They ignore me. They don't attack my plans. They ignore me. Because they attack my plan, they'll have to actually have one. See, and that's a problem. That's a problem. See? And I'm going to tell you a funny thing. I have a lot of people who want to join my policy. And you'll think, why in the world would people want to join Larry Sharpe's policy team? He's some libertarian guy running in New York. Why would there be people in other states who want to come join Larry Sharpe's policy team? Anybody know why? No one else has any policy. I'm not joking. It's not easy to get on someone else's policy because they don't have any policy. So there's very few of us who are actually creating policy. So you either work for a think tank or you work for like 5 politicians on the planet. That's like it. I'm one of them. That's about the only thing. Now I'm joking a little bit. But my point being is that if you actually want someone to fix things, they have to have actual plans. Democrats have run this state for 20 years. If they were going to fix it, they would have fixed it. Republicans have watched Democrats run this state for 20 years. If they were going to have a plan, they would have had one. They don't have a plan. Democrats don't have a plan. So what's going to happen? The state keeps going down. It keeps failing and failing and failing and failing. And sadly, Long Island is failing hard. It's failing hard. You see it? It's failing hard. And the 2 ways we're failing more than anything here in Long Island is the youth are leaving and retirees are leaving. Those are the two worst things for us. There's many things failing in Long Island, but those are the two big ones, because the youth leaves, so where are the jobs? Where's the growth? Where are the families? Where are the businesses? They're in Tennessee, they're in Florida, they're in Arizona, they're in Texas. And now the retirees leave. So where's all that pension money we're paying for? We're paying for pensions. Well, if I'm paying for your pension, I'd like you to spend it in the state. The state's paying for your pension. I would like you to stay. I can't blame the retiree who leaves. It's not their fault. They're doing what's right for themselves. I know. My mother, she actually left New York State. She couldn't retire here. She died in South Carolina because she couldn't retire here. Wasn't mad at her, was disappointed? Of course I was. Wasn't mad at her. We have to make a better state so that retirees want to stay here, that the youth want to stay here. Everything gets better if we focus on that. I could have 80,000 policies, all good. I hope I have tons of them. But thing to remember, when we talk about the Libertarian Party, in this campaign, talk about it last time, and I always do. The Libertarian Party is not about freedom or liberty. That's not true. We say it all the time. It's about happiness. Larry, that sounds cheesy. It does, because it is, but it's still true. Our founding documents, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That's our founding document. Our divorce papers from the UK said that. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And we have forgotten that completely. Now we're about the empire and control and domination. Think about what's been happening. I'm not mad at the government for expanding. I'm not. Governments expand. It's like being mad at a dog for barking. Dogs bark. Not mad at the dog. I don't want a dog, barking dog, don't have a dog. Right? Dogs bark. That's how it works. Governments expand. My problem is how we just accepted it. You don't like your dog barking? Train your dog. You don't like your government expanding? Train your government. We didn't do that. All of us down here, downstate, particularly New York City, but all downstate, we got locked down hard. When we got locked down, that wasn't what surprised me. What surprised me was, as I was sitting in Queens at 7 p.m., some of you remember this, people came outside and started clapping. Remember that? That's some Stockholm Syndrome shit right there. Oh my God, is that? Oh my God. We came out and said, thank you, my Lord and Master Cuomo, for announcing that I am non-essential. Thank you, our jailers. And note who was essential? Only government workers was essential. Yeah, amazing. Only government workers were essential. Huh. I'm not against government workers. My God, any job that pays your bills is a good job. And if the government's a good job for you, please work for the government. I'm not upset about that at all. I'm upset about acting like, because you're a government worker, you're better than someone else. No, you're like everybody else. You're trying to pay your bills. You're trying to move forward in life. Please do that. That's awesome. But we actually said the government worker's better because they work for the government and everybody else stay home. And we didn't fight that. We went, okay, thank you. Thank you is what we did. That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. We should have been able to fight back. We should have fought back, and we really didn't. Some of us did. Greg was yelling. I know. I heard him. I was in Queens. I heard him in Suffolk yelling. So I heard him yelling. Some people were yelling, but most of us weren't. That's true also. Yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. So that whole issue. And we thought, well, wait a minute. If you're a government worker, it's okay, right? Because I'm one of them. So I'm okay, right? I don't get affected by these mandates and such because I'm a government worker. Oh, that changed. That changed. I've been crossing the state. You know one thing that I find that's crazy? The amount of people who are losing their jobs because of mandates. And there are people, to your point, Greg, again, they work from home and they're losing their job because they won't get vaccinated or won't wear a mask, and they work from home. At a minimum, you would think, clearly, silly people think this, but you think that, well, if you work from home and you don't go see people, that it wouldn't matter if you wear a mask or a vaccine. You're not seeing people, you work from home. Oh, no. You will comply. Orders are orders. That's it. You will comply. That's it. You would think that that wouldn't be the case, but it is. So here's the worst part about that. You have some people who were actual heroes, not the people who stayed home watching Netflix, who were told to be heroes. If you get a jab and watch, a rerun of Dexter, you are a hero. No, you're not. You're some dude who likes Dexter, which is fine. I mean, it's a fine show if you like it, but it doesn't make you a hero. I watch Netflix for 3 hours straight. You're not a hero. The hero is the person who literally was working in a hospital or in a medical facility, particularly in the early stages, and didn't know if this was Ebola. Clearly, it's not Ebola. Yes, but they didn't know that. In the beginning, these people did not know that, right? The medical personnel who were in the hospitals, who were in the medical facilities, this could have been the plague. They had no idea, and they still went in anyway. And they had no PPE, and they thought they might die, and they still went in. I'm glad it's not Ebola. I'm glad it's the plague. I'm just saying they didn't know that, and they went in, and they did it for a year and a half. Then the government said, "Oh yeah, by the way, you have to get vaccinated now." But I've been in the front line for a year and a half. Yeah. But if you don't, we're going to fire you, and you can't get benefits. But wait a minute. I was working double shifts. I was making up PPE because I was scared for my life. Meanwhile, all you people were at home getting double pay watching Dexter or catching up on Game of Thrones. What? And now I get fired and I get nothing? And they were like, yeah, that's right. Yes. That's what happened. Heroes to zeros in 30 days. That is correct. So this mandate, this power of government, isn't only for those who happen to be wearing the right uniform. It's only for those who will comply. And as the rules change, you must change. If the party says 2 + 2 is 5, then 2 + 2 is 5. I know it was 4, but now it's 5. That's what's happening now. Larry, you're exaggerating. Okay. How many people here know of someone who've lost their job? Anybody? Yeah, look at all the hands going up. We should be embarrassed that that's true. We should be embarrassed that that's true, but we're not. We're like, yeah, those people should have done what we said. You should have just complied, and then what? That's how it works. I want to say this again. Last year, most New Yorkers woke up and either turned on their phone or their radio or their TV or their computer, depending how old they are, one of those 4 things, to see if the government would allow them to leave their home and go to work and pay and make a living. This is America, right? That's what happened. And we're still sitting like, well, if I just vote Democrat this time, then it'll change. Or if I just vote Republican this time, then it will change. It won't. So why in the world should you vote Libertarian? How is Larry Sharpe, some dude out of Queens, going to make things different? How is he going to save the world? I'm not. I wish I could save the world. I would do it. I would do it. I swear to you, if I could, I would do it. I can't. There's something I can do. I can set the stage for the world to be saved. Yep, I can. That I can do. Larry, what happens if you win the governorship? Does New York change overnight? It does. It literally does. Why do I say that? Larry, you're just going to be governor. Let me tell you what's going to happen. If I actually win this thing and I become governor, next year I become governor, immediately several state senators will change their allegiance. They'll become libertarians. I'm not joking. They will do it. How do I know? Because they told me already. No, they will. They already want to change. They're not changing because they don't think the Libertarian Party is valuable. I don't blame them. They're right in many ways. So I want to fix that. They change. What if there are 3 or 4 state senators in New York State who are libertarian? Libertarians run a state senate. That's how close it is. So libertarians would run the governor and run a state senate. We'd have a problem in the assembly still. That'd be challenging. Absolutely still challenging. However, we'd have 2 and a mandate because the libertarian just won the governorship. A mandate in 2 out of 3. This is not a bad deal. We can start making change. But something else will happen. There's a whole bunch of people across this country who like to be libertarian. Wait a minute. Someone can win, they'll start changing too. You will begin to see a wave happen right away with just this one victory. You will see it. Well, Larry, I don't think you can win. All right, well, you're wrong. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. You think I can win? Okay, you're right to your opinion. I get it. What if I come in second? Imagine what happens if I come in second. I get in the debate stage. Imagine if I get in the debate stage with either Her Majesty Queen Kathy or the devastator Tish James, whichever one we decide, whichever one the Democrats decide. I get in the debate stage with them. None of them even know what a policy is. They have no idea. Remember, our current governor, Her Majesty, oh, Hail the Queen, Her Majesty Queen Kathy, she speaks to God. Remember that? I'm not making this up. She said, I didn't say, she did. She speaks to God. We should be lucky that our governor speaks to God, I guess. I mean, that's an advantage, I guess, in that way. But she said it. She speaks to God. So she talks to God. God tells her what to do. Good for us. I guess it's great. But she has no policies. She's going to embarrass herself. She's going to embarrass herself. So this does matter. So Larry, how are you going to do it? Well, I'm going to tell you something that some people know, some people don't know. I'm actually considering doing something different this time. Last time when we ran, it was a great run. Many of you supported me. Thank you so much for the support you guys gave me. I appreciate that tremendously. We raised over $500,000. We got 100,000 votes. We got ballot access for the party. And a year later, we got 103 victories. And then the New York State said, oh, no, you will not do that. Okay, this is Larry Sharpe, who he think he is. And they punched us in the face and took away everything we took up the breaking a lot of us down. I know. Made me feel bad too. A lot of us did. I want to move forward in a different way. I want to actually run as a libertarian as I would, but also I'm considering running in the Republican primary. So why would I run the Republican primary? Because if I win the Republican primary, I will literally be listed as a Republican and a Libertarian on that ballot. Now you might go, well, Larry, is that a good thing? It is. Let me tell you why it's a good thing. Because last time, you know who were the biggest enemies of me last time? Republicans. Oh my God, were they my enemy last time? Making up stories, throwing money at me, all kind of bad stuff against me, all kind of bad stuff. Why? Because the Republicans in New York State are like Democrats in Oklahoma. They know they're going to lose. They know they can't win. So they just don't want to come in third. That's it. They come in second, they're good. Just don't come in third. Larry Sharpe might put us in third. Let's hammer him. The Democrats knew they were going to win. They ignored me. To your point, Greg, they just ignored me completely. They just thought, Larry who? They didn't care. The Republicans was like, that guy's evil. They came at me hard. So if I have their line, well, that's one enemy taken out. I like that. But more important, if I get that line, I get the debate stage. I get the debate stage. That's a critical piece. But I'm not done. Michael, Larry, that sounds good. This state is like 2-1, 2.5, 3-1, Democrat to Republican. You are right. And more Republicans and conservatives leaving every single week. They're packing them like there's no tomorrow. Leaving like there's no tomorrow. People are actually going to Pennsylvania to get U-Hauls. I'm not joking. Because you can't get enough U-Hauls upstate New York in New York. So they're going to Pennsylvania to get the U-Hauls to drive back to New York to pack up their stuff and go home. I spoke about this in March of 2020. I said, because of these stupid lockdowns, because of crushing the economy, there's going to be a time when New Yorkers literally just pack up and leave, just walk away. They don't care if they have rent. They don't care if they have a lease. They don't care if they have a mortgage. They're going to pack up and leave. You'll be walking by and be like, does somebody live here? Guys, it cut his loan in 6 weeks. It's gone. Guess what? If you go on the New York State website right now, there's a thing called zombie houses. I didn't make that up. They did. You heard about it. Zombie houses. Houses are just people walked away. They had leases and said, see you in court. They had mortgages. I guess you'll be suing me. I'm going bankrupt. Goodbye. They just packed up and left. That's happening right now. It's bad. So how am I going to deal with that issue? Well, some of you may have heard that Andrew Yang has left the Democratic Party. He has. And he is now independent. He has the forward line. Well, maybe I can get the forward line too. Get the forward line, the Republican line, Libertarian line. Now I got 3 lines. If I make that happen, this becomes an actual winnable race. Because we get Republicans, Independents, Libertarians, and a whole bunch of angry Democrats who are happy to vote for someone like on the Yang line And now it becomes winnable. This becomes a winnable race. But more important, if I get the forward line or the Republican line, either one, debate stage. So now I start talking about actual ways to fix problems. That's critical. I'm gonna give you a couple right now you can think of that easily can happen and that exist in other states. Could you imagine if once someone turns 65 in New York State, their property tax is cut in half? That's a thing in many states. Why?
Some states, zero.
Some is zero, yes, but that's a bridge too far from New York State. You're right. That would be better. I'm just being realistic, Greg. I'm being realistic. I'm being realistic here, but you're correct. I'm being realistic. But just cut in half. Some retirees would stay and spend their pensions here. Wouldn't that be awesome? Imagine just that. Not just that. What if we stopped punishing people for doing things like cannabis and blockchain, right? Cryptocurrency? The youth might stay. They're leaving. They're going to other states because they think that stuff's cool. They want to be part of it. They're getting educated here and they're leaving. They're going. You know what kind of states they're going to? Wyoming. That's correct. Place with no state tax. Yep. $134 a year for a commercial property in Wyoming. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Imagine if we talked about that. But what are we getting? Here's what we're getting. From Democrats, we're getting talk about vaccines and talks about making sure we lock schools down. That's what we're talking about. If you look at what Bill de Blasio is talking about and Kathy Hochul was talking about, they say what New Yorkers care about more than anything else is being safe. I have crossed this state multiple times. That is never the top issue of anyone I talk to. It's always somehow the economy or somehow education. Those are always the top two in New Yorkers' minds. Somehow the economy, whether that's taxes or jobs or something, somehow education, whether they're getting educated, student loans, something like that. It's always something like that. It's never top. It's always, I'm scared of COVID. That's never number one, ever. But for them it is. Why? Because they have no plans for anything else. New York State's budget went from about $190 billion to $220 billion, and we lost 500,000 people. Taxes got to go up, guys. That's regular math, not even Common Core. Regular math. Got to go up. What's their plan? Nothing. But the deficit will be at least $60 billion this year, at least, if not more. And they're doing that. And here's the thank you, Greg. Here's the worst part. Because the politicians don't know about the actual market or business, they haven't figured something out. If you go back 30 years, tech followed finance. That was a thing. And tech would go to wherever finance is because they need to finance his money to grow. Those days are over. Now finance follows tech. Finance goes where tech goes. And tech is going to San Fran, and tech is going to Austin. So finance is going to Austin, and finance is going to San Fran. And New York's like, let's punish these rich people. And they're like, I was going to leave, so thanks. I'm out anyway. That's our answer. That's our answer. We're going to lose banking. Some of you may not know this. On Wall Street right now, there was one bank. One. Deutsche Bank, because they own the building. That's it. They own the building. Otherwise, they'd be gone too. Oh, you can live on Wall Street. Wall Street's full of residential housing. Yeah, I know some of you are shocked. The bankers are going. They're leaving. They're taking off. The New York Stock Exchange, it has New York in the name. Talked about going to Texas. It has New York in the name. And it's thinking about going to Texas. Yes, absolutely. And here's the other thing. Goldman Sachs, considering going to Florida. Thinking about going to Florida. Florida, no state income tax. Huh. What's our plan? Our plan's nothing. Mine's radical. I've talked about a lot of plans. I know I have, and I'll yap forever. But let me give you one more radical plan, which I think can actually help us to get us out of this terrible place we're in. Imagine if New York State decided to create its own currency. Can be done. It's legal. Can be done. Utah has it. I think South Dakota has it too. based on either gold, which we'd sadly have to borrow because that's New York State, or cryptocurrency, whatever make the most sense, either one of those things. And then we took that New York State currency and we paid for all of our education only through that currency. Our education is about a 60 to 70 billion dollar market. One of the big problems with currencies is who's going to spend it. It doesn't, you know, it's not a thing. Well, I know who's going to spend it. New York State is. You want to buy books? You want to sell us books? You get paid in our currency. The New York education coin, the not yet, or the Yorkie, what someone told me I should call it. The Yorkie, I like it. The Yorkie, get paid in the Yorkie. We'll put little dogs on us. I don't know, whatever. But yes, you get paid in the Yorkie. It'd be like Dogecoin. Anyway, so you get paid in the Yorkie. Teachers get paid in the Yorkie. Teachers don't want Yorkies. You're right. Teachers will want dollars. Okay, why don't we have banks transfer everything from a Yorkie into a dollar? And they'll have a small transaction fee. Boy, do banks like small transaction fees. The banks love small transaction fees. They'll transfer it over. They'll start moving through. And all of a sudden now that's being paid that way. But I'm not done. How do I pay for education? Literally each student. Right now, how does it get paid? Locally, the money comes into some horrible algorithm that no one understands, based upon whether the kids go to college or not, and it totally discourages trade schools, based upon the federal government putting these insane, stupid strings attached. Oh, that's how you get paid. No one can figure it out. I have an answer. Looking at paying Yorkies. Every kid, $18,000 per kid in every district. There is your money. But Larry, some districts are smaller or larger. Reorg them, the money's the same. I don't care. Reorg them, the money's the same. But Larry, then we won't be getting grants from the federal government. I know. Fire all those administrators. There's literally hundreds of them, probably thousands of them in our state. Fire them. I don't have to fire them. I will not fire anybody. Local districts will. Fire them. But Larry, I'm an administrator. You out of a job. Guess you're not voting for me. If you're a teacher, you're going to love me, because the reason why most teachers leave is admin. That's the reason why. They can't stand the paperwork. They can't stand the oversight. That's going to go away. Man, teachers are going to love that. Administrators, sorry, some are going to go. Some are going to stay, though. We need principals. We need vice presidents. We need administrators. We do. But do we need 17 grant writers? That's what we have. We don't. Do we need people who will keep track of what the federal government and state government wants? No, we won't. There's your money. Good luck. Right now in our system, our school system right now, if you don't spend your money, you lose it. So that means now you have to keep spending the money. At the end of the year, we have extra money. Spend it. If we don't, we lose it. It literally encourages waste. I was a Marine. Some of you may know if you are veteran, you know this. The federal fiscal year ends in October. So what are you doing in September? Spend. You are firing off all your ammunition. We are out firing everything off. We don't fire all the rounds. We're doing night fires. We're doing everything. It doesn't matter. Get the rounds out, because if we don't spend them, we lose it. I remember one time it was so bad, I used to work in an armory. This is back in the day when night vision goggles weren't on top of the helmet. They used to have to put them on. It's old school. You have to put them on, right? Take a night vision goggles off, hit them with a sledgehammer and break them, right? Well, because then I don't have any budget. I need new ones. So they weren't broken. So I had a sledgehammer, and I'm out there, breaking night vision goggles so we can buy new ones. Otherwise, you lose your budget. How about instead, you take your money. If you don't spend it, you could save it. I know, crazy. I know, crazy. You could just save it. It's crazy. You could buy your football field whenever you want to buy a football field, not because my crony happens to be a construction guy and I can get a grant from the state to keep my crony happy so he can build you a football field. We just got a football field built last year, which happens all the time. The average teacher in New York State makes about $80,000 a year, give or take average. The average administrator makes over 200. There are administrators right now in our state who make $300,000 or $400,000. Easy. And they should go away. And they will go away. But here's the best part of the whole thing. I just helped education. I just pulled $60 to $70 billion out of our budget. Our budget goes back from 220 down to about 160. Still higher than Florida, but better. But it's a more important piece. If I'm paying with Yorkies, what's the need for school tax? There is none. When you end the school tax, the average New Yorker will lower their property tax by about 50%. Depending upon where you are, it's around 50%. Imagine if you were to lower your property tax by about 50%. Rents stabilize, which means the youth can stay on Long Island because rents are out of control. Now they can stay on Long Island because rents stabilize. Not just that, people can stay in their homes because you can afford to stay in your home. Not just that, if we go again, Greg, half, not all with our seniors, half with our seniors, now retirees are going to stay here and spend their pensions here. And I want you spending your pension here. Yeah, I gave you a radical idea, but it's an actual idea that solves more than one problem. And it can be done. I would ask you, has any Republican or any Democrat ever given you ideas like this? Of course not. And at not one point did I go, other guy bad, because you know the other guys are bad. I don't have to say. All right, guys, I wanted to explain that to you so you saw some ideas. I have tons of things. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate all your time, guys. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions or comments if you have any. Go ahead, please. Yep. Yep.
He said you need to
Revamp. That's going to help.
Well,
That'll solve it.
His idea of revamp is pumping money. He's just
Yes.
pumping money.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
my debate was school protocol.
Yeah.
As a governor, how do you talk to these other senators that have ideas? How do you get them together?
Yeah, I tell you how. I'm going to have them give $18,000 per kid plus a $4,000 credit in Yorkies if anybody wants to go to private school or homeschool. What is that going to mean? They're going to have private schools explode everywhere. And guess how much private schools are going to cost per year? 4,000 Yorkies. Because that's the statement. That's what it's going to cost. I guarantee it's how it works. Because they'll wind up getting loans. Why? This is guaranteed government money. And what do banks love more than fines and fees? Guaranteed government money. They love that even more. So yes, so that will happen. So now people can homeschool if they want to, private school if they want to. But more importantly, this plan cuts your property tax in half. What state assemblyman, what state senator doesn't want to go back to the constituent and say, I'm going to help cut your property tax in half? If anyone doesn't, they are finished. That's how you do it. Because note what I said gets the half property tax thing. There's a lot of people who don't care about schools. They all care about property tax. That's how you tie it in. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'm sorry, you had to go ahead.
Yeah, it's just so everybody knows, I appreciate Larry coming down, but if you like what you're hearing from him and what he can do for each and every one of us, regardless of your party line, help support him because he needs support financially. So as libertarians, we do not mandate or request that you make donations, but you can if you like.
Yes.
Larry will tell you his website, but here's something County, we did a volunteer for that.
Oh, very nice.
Pocket change that you want to put in, whatever it is, voluntarily to support our candidate for governor.
So let me bring that up if I could. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And some of you guys may not know this, but when I ran last time for governor in 2018, I was the only person who was not getting a government check. There were 5 people running. All of them were getting government checks, but me. This is a game that needs to be played by either wealthy people or establishment people. That's it. You're wealthy or established. I am neither. I did not work for a year and a half. Take a salary for a year and a half. People say, Larry, why didn't you run in 2020? I was broke. That's the reason. I was still break. I ended my campaign last time with 6 figures of debt. I had to pay it all off, work myself back so I can do it again. My last days of work were 2 weeks ago. I will now go 1 year without a salary. I know that. Don't feel sorry for me. I knew what I was doing. I signed up for this. So I'm going to bleed for a year. I've accepted that. I'm asking you to bleed for a year too. Give me a little bit of cash if you can. You can give me $5. If you can give me, if you're super rich, give me $500 a month. Give me $1,000 a month. You got it. I actually had a guy last time who actually did $1,000 a month. That's true. That actually happened. If you got that kind of cash, please give it. Why would you give me $1,000 a month? Why in the world would you do that? Because I'll spend it for us. How do you know that? Because it's public. You can see last year what I spent it on. You watch me spend it. It's going to be Facebook ads. It's going to be travel. It's going to be polling. Some of you may not know this. It's a pay-to-play game. Some of you were like, well, Larry, why weren't you in the papers? Why weren't you on the news? We asked them. I said, look, I'm a candidate. I'm the legal, candidate. Why aren't you covering me? They said, you don't buy ads. It's pay to play. Buy ads, get covered. So where's that money going? To buy ads, so I can get covered. Larry, why aren't you in the polls? So we called them. Why am I not in the polls? We're doing polling. I'm a legal candidate. I'm going to be in a ballot. They said it. You don't buy polls. Buy the poll. I said, how much the poll cost? $40,000. Not joking. $40,000. So yeah, I wish it wasn't this way. I wish I could just be super smart and super cool and super good looking and everybody would cover me and I'd make tons. That'd be awesome. That's not how the game's played. It's pay to play. So why do I bug you for money? That's where it's going. That's what I need. And I'm sitting here, I'll bleed. I'm asking you to bleed some for me too. So if you guys can head over to LarrySharpe.com/20K, by the way, I'm trying to raise $20,000 because I have a matching donor who will give me $20,000 if I raise $20,000. So I'm trying to raise $20,000 now. If you want to help out, every little counts. If you've got big dollars, spend it. It's worth it. Why? Because if I actually win this thing, the entire nation will change. If I come in second, the state changes. If you care about your state, maybe you don't. I hope you do. You came here, so I hope you do. If you care about your state, be very forward with you. In 2022, there is nothing that you can do better besides support my campaign. If you care about your state. Larry, that sounds like a hyperbole. It does, but it's still true. It is true. In 2022, if you want to support New York State, there is nothing you can do more valuable than support this campaign. If you can't spend the money, no worries. It's okay. I'm going to ask some other things from you. Number one, tell people I'm running. You don't have any cash? No worries. Don't give me cash. Tell people, particularly Republicans. If you know Republicans, tell them. You know, Larry Sharpe's going to run your line. He's what? Yeah, he is. And you should support him because he's super handsome. You should do that. So you should absolutely tell people that I'm running, number one. Number two, this is going to sound crazy, but it does matter. Every time you see me on social media, whether you're on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, whatever, like, share, comment, it does matter because I get shadow banned all the time. They do not like me, but they don't shut me down because I'm blue check. So they don't shut me down because I have a blue check. And I'm a candidate. They don't shut me down. But man, do they shadow ban me. And how do I know that? Because what will happen is I'll get like 2,000 views on something. Then enough will go over to just over to a number of shares. Bam, 15,000. Because it breaks the algorithm and now I'm open to everybody. So the more times you like and share and comment, it does matter. So obviously, if you can give, please give. But if you can't, tell people. And if you can't tell people, like, comment, share. Because you got no friends, you're only online. It's fine. Just do that. I don't mind. It's fine. I don't care. You got no friends. It's fine. No worries. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.